Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Justrun podcast with me and Nathan. I'm just going to start off straight away doing what I did last week by thanking everyone who's liked it, listened to it, subscribed to it. Thank you so much. It's been such a good little journey. We're only on 3 episodes and it's just been so good so far. Last week we had, if anybody's listened, we had Jen Humphreys on. She's an absolute star. Incredibly inspiring. If you haven't listened to it yet, please do. But yeah, just a huge shout out to every single person. And as Nathan has posted a few times, worldwide, we've got worldwide listeners already. So thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, here's to episode 3. This is going to be a drama as well. We've got a really cool, inspirational guest today, Andrew, who's going to be joining us in a little bit. But first of all, we're just going to kick off by just talking about the week, really, how life is at the moment in terms of training, and crack on from there, really. I suppose what I'll do straight away is kick off, Nath, by asking about your training, because for anyone who's listened will know that he's in preparation of doing the Wales Coastal Path. So how's things going that in, mate?
Yeah, I've had a couple of good weeks of increasing my mileage. Last week I did just 38 miles, where I've just stepped up over the last couple of weeks. This week, due to sort of like a bit of a cough and body's aching a bit, I'm just gonna cool off a bit and then go back up and raising up my week's mileage next week. But this week I'm not really doing much.
No.
This morning I wanted to do a bit of a hill session, but got to the place where I was doing the hills and realised that I didn't have like a belt to put anything. So I had pockets, but it just threw me because I knew that everything would be jiggling around and it just threw me. So I thought, sod it, I'll just walk the dogs.
Mate, on that note, actually, are you like me? Do you hate carrying things in your hand when you're running?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, it actually changes the way you move as well. So it can actually cause injury by carrying your phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, do you want to tell that to Jenks?
It slightly throws off the balance.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say then I went on a long run on Sunday. We'll come back to in a minute, but shout out to Jenks who organised it. But yeah, he loves the gram. He'll know exactly what I mean. We all wind him up. Any photo opportunity, he's always got his phone out. So I'll have to have a word with him about that. But no, I've been meaning to ask you more about the Wales Coastal Path. But like with your PT background and everything as well, I'm curious. I know it's probably too much to go into now, but have you written up like a training program? Have you got like, and how is it kind of formed?
Yeah, so my focus is obviously raising the mileage up, but nothing going over 3-hour runs for the whole day. So I'm currently doing 2 runs a day. So I'm used to sort of like getting out in the morning and then getting back out in the afternoon, just so my body's getting used to sort of like having a rest period and get going again. But I'm treating it like a strength program where we step up every week, then 3-4 weeks, drop down the level, and then you go back up again. So it gives you time to recover in between.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like the way you did doing the 2 runs a day, I suppose, because when you're taking on a challenge as monstrous as the Coastal Path, I mean, you've literally got to get up and go every day, doing 40 plus miles a day. So you've got to learn to run every day, really, without recovery. I mean, the only recovery you get is if you decide to get your head down for a bit, isn't it? But otherwise, that's going to be a mission.
yeah, and I realised that I'd be running back and forth to work, and the other day I was running home and I thought, Jesus, how heavy is this bag? So I got home, weighed my bag, and it was 6 kilos. It's no wonder I've been struggling back and forth. Yeah, crazy. But in terms of like the week we've just had with like launching, it's only been like 2 episodes that's gone out. This is obviously our 3rd. And to have people in like 9 different countries around the world, that's just nuts. And the messages of support and so like people liking the podcast is great. Like I had one the other day off someone we've known for a while saying that they've put their partner in contact with Bigmoose now, and since that episode, I think they had their first therapy session on Monday. So literally it was a couple of days turnaround, and they've been struggling with the NHS for a while. So it shows that Bigmoose does really help everyone quickly. Really good. So I know just by the 2 episodes we've done, it is helping just getting that message out there, which is great.
Yeah, and if it's only one person that we do it with, that's one person that we've helped. And I mean, that's why we've set out to do this. I mean, we both love running, fitness, and talking, and so combining all that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, for anybody who hasn't listened or is just listening, Bigmoose is get on it, have a little research, look at what they do. They do amazing things. And when you sent that over, because obviously we both personally know this person. And they said their wife has been struggling and that they've had no end of problems getting help and therapy. And yet there they are getting their first session through Bigmoose like that. It's just, that almost brought a tear to my eye. I'm not kidding you. I was telling my wife about it because that's why we're doing this, to help people, whether it's helping them get onto a better journey in terms of running and health, or whether it is just to listen in and learn more about mental health and seek advice or help through Bigmoose. And that's what it's all about, man. That was a big thing. When you sent me that really choked me up. I loved it. Because
Did you obviously watched the It's Why We Run documentary, which came out Friday?
And, I watched it. When did I watch it? I think I watched it literally a couple of days ago. I went to the gym. I put on the treadmill and I watched it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was powerful, wasn't it? I'll put the link on the descriptions below, and I'll post them on Instagram as well. But to have like the guy who's filming it to be the moment in the whole thing where it really hits home what and why we need mental health, it was just crazy, wasn't it?
I know.
I spoke to Max, and he didn't expect it, and he didn't even realize the camera was on. But he was just thought how lucky it was still rolling.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely the most powerful running documentary I've ever watched, and I've watched a lot. But it hits home just because you get to see the community and everyone together, and the joy and the everything about like an amazing journey and challenge together. But the mental health aspect of it overtakes that, and it's not miserable, it's not morbid, it's real. I spoke to Lewis, and I said to him, it's such a real, raw documentary. Like, I was on that treadmill running, and every now and then I'd get like butterflies and the hairs would go up the back of my neck, and I get quite emotional because it's real people telling real stories. And on top of that, it's just a really well filmed documentary about an incredible race. So yeah, Nathan will put the link in. If you haven't seen it yet, jump on and just watch it. It's incredible. It's really, really good.
Chloe, the Bigmoose CEO, she's actually agreed to come on the show.
No way, really?
Yeah, so because a lot of people don't realize that Chloe actually loves to run. So I think it's great for Chloe to be able to tell her story around running and why it's so important to her and what it means to her.
Absolutely.
Take out the Bigmoose stuff, and she's still such an inspirational character. It's just crazy.
Amazing. Honestly, like, I started this episode by thanking everyone for listening to the first 2 and subscribing. I mean, Jen was just one of many incredible guests we've got lined up already. We've got people coming forward who are willing to come on here and talk about their lives and their journeys, including our guest today, Andrew. And honestly, it's so inspiring. It really is. It's great that people are wanting to come on here and talk. And I set out with you to do this podcast and make it something that I would listen to. And it's exactly that. So yeah, I can't wait to have her on. That's amazing. We got some amazing guests. And
I know, we're both months. Yeah,
we are. And we got one really big one, which I'm not going to say anything about, no spoilers about yet, but that's really cool. Talking about, you said you went out, you did about 38 last week. I did probably the most I've run since when was it set? October or November time. Me and you went out with a few guys at the Garth and everything. But I had quite a good week, just like consistent small 10Ks and things like that. And then I went out and did a 25 miler on Sunday with a few people. Shout out to Jenks, Sean, John, and Gareth. Jenks in particular for organising it. So, my God, I tell you what, that's the first long run I've done since, like I said, November, and my knees are battered today. and my ankle's a bit tight because I twisted it about 2 miles away from the car park, which is always the same with me. But
It looks stunning.
it was beautiful, mate. We started off in a place called I don't know if I'm going to say any of these places right. Lantoni, Lantoni. I can't remember, something like that anyway. But it's a really beautiful place to start. And yeah, we ran up through the Black Mountains, Hay Bluff, covered off loads of summits, and I mean the weather was blue skies and sun all day, but it was absolutely Baltic, like freezing cold the whole day. So don't let it deceive you. But one of the summits that we ran up, which I wanted to bring up on here because I thought the boys were all messing around, is called Lord Hereford's Knob. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I've never heard of it. It's also known as Tumper, apparently. But they all kept going on about this, and I was like, oh, they got to be having me on. But no, I looked it up, and one thing I want, if anybody listens to this and can find some history about why it's called that, please let us know, because I've searched high and low. I can't find anything or any reason as to why it's called that, and I feel like that needs some kind of justification. But
there's a reel right there.
It's honestly, and then do you know what? That got me thinking. Then when I was looking at Lord Hereford's Knob, I was like, I got to look at some other funny summit names. So I found a few others I'm going to talk about on here now, and I want anybody who's run up any funny mountains and stuff to write to message in as well. But a couple I found was in Cumbria, Great Cockup, Sandy Balls in New Forest, Shitterton in Dorset, which particularly made me laugh. And the funny story with that is that they had to keep replacing the sign because it kept getting stolen.
That's shit, isn't it?
Yeah. So they had to like build like a heavy stone like into the ground so nobody could take it. And my favourite one up in Orkney, Twat with a double T, which I couldn't believe was a place, but it is. And honestly, I was just sat there giggling like a kid to myself. So if anybody...
Is that where you're going to move?
Yeah.
Twat in a twat.
If anybody's been to any of those places or climbed any of those mountains, please let me know. Or if you've got any other ones worldwide, please just let us know, because, you know, we're immature and it's funny. Also, did you watch any of the Spine race? Have you seen any of it?
Bits, yeah. I watched the first episode and I just got bored of the interviews. Really, I just felt like, come on, get running.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy who won it was 72 hours, 268 miles, was it?
Yeah. Jack Scott. So I had to think then. Yeah, he came second last year and he won it now. But the main thing is to note there is that he beat the record by 10 hours. So everyone thought that the record was unbeatable and he beat it by 10 hours. So that was incredible. I didn't watch all the way through. Like you said, I get a bit bored with the interviews and all that. I just kind of wanted to see the running. So I'm sure there'll be a banging documentary coming out on that. But that was...
Well, I didn't much running actually happening on the rest of them.
Really?
Yeah. Every time I watched it, they were just walking.
It's probably because they're frozen, mate. It's minus 20 up there. They probably can't run.
Well, I think he averaged about 3.7 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot.
Mate, they're running 268 miles in minus 20 degree temperatures, mind. Come on.
Yeah, that was the killer. The snow on it and the cold. It looked horrific.
I mean, the pictures of it, it literally looks hellish. I couldn't think... I've never run any kind of challenges or anything in snow like that, and I couldn't think of anything worse. That's a good debate, that is. Would you rather run in heat or cold weather?
Well, they do a summer one, don't they?
Yeah.
One of the guys from It's Why We Run just signed up today.
I mean, I'm a pale ginger Welsh boy. I don't think I'd do well in the heat, if I'm being honest. But then again, I don't think I'd do well in the cold either.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at this stage, should we introduce our guest, Nate?
Yeah, let's bring him on. We talked about him enough last week, and we posted enough videos about him on Instagram this week as well.
Yeah. All right, then we got so for anybody who's seen the posts that Nathan's been doing and stuff and listened to last week's episode, we spoke about Andrew. I'm not going to go into too much detail because he can tell you a story himself. But Andrew, are you there?
You're all right, mate. I'm here.
Hey,
I think. You're all right, son?
Here he is, a
mate,
little Cardiff boy.
I nearly fell off a treadmill when I heard that when I was listening to the last podcast.
Nathan told me that. Like, I didn't even realise. Oh, you messaged me, I think I was saying that he called you that. I mean, as a Swansea boy, is there a worse insult?
Well, no, not really.
Yeah, mate, first of all, let's just thank you for coming on. Thank you so much for coming on. And
Having me.
what an amazing, inspiring journey that you've had so far. And it's only been a short journey, so I'm not going to go into any more detail. Just tell us a bit about yourself, mate, and what you've been going through.
Well, I'd say it was a year last September. I must have been about 23 and a half, 24 stone maybe. And I can remember I was working late one night, and I can remember just like picking up a few items, and I carried them about 20 yards and threw them in the back of the bus. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, freezing cold, but I had all sweat dripping down me. And I got in the driver's seat, and I couldn't talk. There's the guy sat next to me, and he's talking to me, but I just didn't have the breath to like hold the conversation, and I could feel my heart racing, and I thought, I'm only, what was I then, 43? I just thought, I knew I was big anyway. You know, I'm not stupid. I know I'm not fit, but sometimes knowing it and then actually feeling it, and like when you run up a flight of stairs and you're out of breath, you realise how bad it is, sort of thing. And I can remember just thinking to myself, I'm gonna start. I don't know why I thought going for a run would be the best idea at the time, but I thought to myself, I'm just gonna try and eat a little bit healthier, because basically I was living on takeaways, fast food, because like I drive, so like I pull into a service station, yeah, burger van, so I'm basically living on crap. So I just thought I'm going to clean up my diet a little bit as best as I can, and I'll go out for a run late one night. So I can remember waiting until it was about 11 o'clock at night. I can remember thinking, I'm not going out in the daytime, no chance whatsoever. And I just walked around the corner from here, and I thought, I'm going to go for a run, see how far I can go. Well, that lasted for about 4 seconds. And I thought, Christ, this is harder than what I thought it'd be. So I just you've got like lampposts every couple of hundred yards, say. So the first night, basically, I just tried running from one to the other. Didn't even get halfway from one lamppost to the next. Walked a little bit. Then I tried jogging a little bit, but it ended up being like a 20-minute walk near enough. I turned around, came back. Following night, I went back out and just waited until it was pitch black again, because I just felt like, like all the eyes, like cars going past, they'd be like, look at that fat bugger running up and down there. So you know what I mean? And then I was like going out late at night all the time, and I was going a little bit further each time. But I can remember my wife saying to me, like, join the gym, sort of thing. So I signed up online to join a local council leisure centre. And I can remember going over there and going in, and I'd just go on the treadmill. I just found it a little bit easier on the treadmill. And then I started like going on the treadmill for 15 minutes. Then it was like 20 minutes. Then I'd start over the weeks. Then I think I ran my first mile. It took me like 17 minutes. So I can walk a mile now in about 13, 14 minutes if I really put my mind to it. Then I thought I got a mate from Cardiff, actually, he's the Barry boy, he is. And he goes running, and he's done loads of marathons. And I know as mates do, as boys do, don't they? He's like taking a piss, he's saying, come on now, Anne, sort yourself out, sort of thing. So I thought, if he can do it, I can do it, sort of thing. So I'd be sending him messages and say, look, I'm in the gym, I'm doing it, I'm trying my best. And he'd take the piss and be encouragement in the same way. And so he said, sign up for a run. So I signed up for the Chepstow 10K. I think it was in November. And I can remember off I went. I can remember getting to the second lap, and I just, like when you can see everybody's finished, and I'm like I'm the last one. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up. And but I pushed myself through. I finished, I think, my first 10K. It took me about hour and 40 minutes, something like that. But I done it, and I was really pleased with myself. And I signed up for a half marathon in, I think it was January. So obviously I'd lost a little bit more weight then. I finished my first half marathon in January then. I think that took me about 3.5 hours maybe. Again, I was in my usual spot at the back. But I was getting a little bit more confident. And then once I'd done that, I was like, I wonder if I can do something else. I wonder if I can go further. So the Newport Marathon was in April, I think it was. So I signed up for that because it seemed like a good idea at the time to sign up for a marathon. And I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue how to run. I didn't know how to structure runs or anything. So I signed up for it. I signed up for loads of them. I signed up for the RADA half marathon, the trail marathon. And I can remember I thought I'll just sign up for loads of things so I've got targets then, because otherwise I give up. So if I think I've got that to do in 4 weeks, then it gives me like something on the horizon to look forward to. So I can remember just like I went into Google, I typed "how do you run a marathon," and then I had like I think it was like a 16-week guide sort of thing. So I just followed that. In between all that, I was doing half marathons, not too bad. Then I could like finish them in 3.5 hours. I done my first trail half marathon, which was done by you, Radar in Griffithstown with Ridge Runners. And I thought, trail running can't be that hard, really, can it? It's just like a marathon, but with grass. And that was the first time I can remember thinking, well, I'm doing a half road marathon in about 3 hours then. I thought, it can't take me that much longer, really, can it? So I set off, and I can remember the first 3 miles. It was about 5 miles in. It took me like about an hour and 40 minutes, and I was thinking, this is ridiculously this is ridiculously hard. This is. But I got to the top of. I can remember walking up, and some guy was coming down, and he's saying this, and he must have been a runner as well. He's saying this trail running's a different ball game, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, too right it is. I got to the top, and I felt more of an achievement getting to the top of that little mountain thing than anything leading up to that point. And then you've got all the view all over Cardiff. And I just thought, this is amazing, this is. So I managed to finish that. I think it's been about 4 hours, 40, something like that, something really, really, really long. And that was the first time they gave me my medal, and then I got through, and I had to sit down on the grass. I honestly couldn't physically. It ruined me. I couldn't. I thought to myself, I got to sit down before I drive home. So I was just sat in the grass for about half an hour looking at the sky. I was thinking, that was the hardest, most amazing thing I've ever done. So by the time I got into the car then to go home, I was like looking for other runs, and I was like, well, I'll do that one. I'll do that one. So then the Newport Marathon come up, and that was like my next big thing then, because it was like 26 miles. I'd never done anything like this before, and I can remember I had two targets. I just wanted to finish it, whether it meant I was on my hands and knees crawling across the finishing line, and if I could finish it without stopping running. Yeah. And I managed to do both. Well, you could class it as a sort of hobble run, but I managed to get all the way around. I finished it in like 5 hours, 50 something.
Oh, that's amazing.
And, so like, and my wife and kids were there, and at that time as well, and I joined a running club leading up to that, which is another thing.
How did it make you feel, and having your family at the end?
I burst into tears, mush, if I'm honest. I crossed the finishing line. I could hear my wife like shouting my name. And I managed to be all right until I got to the finishing line, and then they put a medal on. And I can remember walking back to my wife then and giving her a kiss, and I was just like, I started blubbering. And I was like, I can't believe how emotional, and not like I've lived an easy life. Nothing I've ever done has been ever hard, if that makes sense. I've never really pushed myself. I've always taken the easy options. So I've never really pushed myself to see what I was capable of.
And you did,
So,
and look where you
so,
achieved
so,
it. And I mean,
so I
that's,
done
that's
that,
incredible.
and it was like a feeling that I've never really experienced before, and
Yeah,
it was
a lot
amazing.
of people.
I felt like I had just won the Olympics. I felt like I just run the fastest marathon in the world. I just felt like a king. I sat down and had a beer at the end, and I couldn't stop smiling until I got home.
Amazing.
And all the members of my running club, there's like loads of them dotted round, so that they like cheering me on and everything, which I didn't even know they were going to do that. And that's like another thing. Joining a running club has been an absolute amazing experience. Like the people in them have been the most supportive, and like I always thought, oh, they're like all elitists, or they're all fast runners, but like the social aspect of a running club is just as good as going out running in a group, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and I finished the marathon, and I was like, oh, what can I do? I felt lost, like as if you've gone all the way up here.
Yeah.
And then I'd achieved it, and I was like, what do I do now? And then,
Yeah, it hooks you in, doesn't it? Because you've just achieved something that you never thought you'd do, and it's like, well, what am I going to do now? Which is even harder.
It was because like every day I just downloaded how to run a marathon, and I had like week 1, week 2, and I'd been following that religiously. So all of a sudden, then I was gone. I was like, what do I do now? Do I just carry on now, or do I just stop? And I thought, no, I'm not going to stop. And then I started reading about like ultra marathons, and I thought, well, I'm from Swansea. There's a big run, walk, crawl ultra marathon down at Gower. I thought, how amazing would it be if, like, within a year, I'd gone from where I was to like finishing an ultra marathon in my hometown.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was the most incredibly brutal thing I've ever done.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it, the Gower?
No, it was, and I've realised as well now that the volunteers on all these trail marathons, they're all a bunch of liars. When they say there's just a little tiny hill around the corner and it's not far to go.
Yeah, it's the last hill.
But the thing is,
when they say it's the last hill, it's not the last hill, and that hill might be steeper than Everest.
Yeah,
so,
it's the last hill you can see.
Yeah, it's the last hill till you go to get to the next one.
If they said to you, if you go around the corner and they said to you, you're fine, you got another 28 miles left yet, you want to punch them in the face, so either way, it's a double-edged sword. But just can I only, sorry to interrupt you a second, Andrew, but only quickly just going back on what you just talked about. First of all, wow, amazing. What an incredible journey. Like I said at the beginning, we knew a bit about this anyway, but hearing it come from you is just, wow. I want to ask just like, what would you... I've got a few friends who are in a similar situation, and I'm very much of the opinion that is a lot to do with mindset. But put that aside a second. What advice would you give someone who was in your position, who was perhaps overweight and was struggling, but wanted to make that change, like and thought that they just couldn't do it? Like you said, they got it out of breath doing like quite easy things, really. What advice? What triggered you to just say, shit, I need to do something about this? What was it, and what advice would you give to somebody who was in that same position?
Because of my age as well, I thought if I don't do it now, then it's a case of I'm never going to do it. And like there was my wife's cousin. She's very young. She's 36, and she died of cancer. And I know that she would have given anything to live, sort of thing. She would have given anything. And then there's me sat there, like eating myself to death, sort of thing. And I just thought to myself, we're only here for a short time, and like make the most of what we've got. So I just wanted to be better. I just wanted to be the best version of myself, and
Amazing.
I just wanted to lose weight to begin with. To be honest, it wasn't a case of like I wanted to run 5 miles. I just thought running would be a tool to lose weight, if that makes sense. And I only set myself small targets as well at the start. It was just a case of running from one lamppost to the other. And I think maybe a lot of people like you say, like January, you got all the people saying like a new year, new me type thing, and they set themselves these huge targets of like going to the gym 3 times a day and doing things like that. Whereas maybe if they just set themselves small targets, and then before they know it, they've climbed loads of stairs instead of like doing one big jump, and then all of a sudden they're hurting and they think, oh, I'll just leave it for tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes, does it?
Perfect.
Just,
That's spot on. That's great. That's I love hearing that from you as well, because like I said, it's coming straight from your mates as well. And I've heard that with a lot of people where, like you said, it could just be a lamppost, it could be a certain color car you can see in the distance, anything at all that keeps you going, just whether you're walking or jogging, and then eventually those goalposts, metaphorically and in reality, move, and you can actually think, well, actually, I could only run 15 minutes the other day. Now I'm running 20 minutes, and you don't have to go straight into a 10K or straight into a marathon, like you said. You build it up, and that's a really interesting thing that you said, and you put it, and it sounds very much like it was your mindset, and you made a lot of sacrifices to get to where you were, because, like you said, you're driving around. So I think your weakness was that you were eating a lot and things like that, burgers and things like that. So what sacrifices? Yeah. What happened? What sacrifices did you have to make then? Did you just go cold turkey and cut it all out, or how did you get to a point where you were eating healthier? Like, what kind of steps did you take?
I think like it goes back to like I still eat rubbish food now, like, but instead of doing it 7 days a week, you've still got to live a little as well. You've still got to have a little bit of, you can't say, right, I'm only going to live on salad and rice and chicken for the next 40 years. You've got to like go out for meals with the family. You've got to have like a takeaway or something. If guests come round, like you order in a takeaway. Instead of having like a big massive plate and then finishing that off, and then I'd be like looking over who else has had food, and I'd be like, oh, I'll finish that off. Just like have smaller portions. It is as simple as like eating slightly less than what he was the day before or the week before, and just moving a little bit more than what he was. Perfect. And before you know it, you've gone from say 1 to 10. You've just like totally changed.
Yeah, and here's a question, because you obviously you weren't in pain, but you were short of breath and stuff like that from doing very minimal activity, like you said when you first started telling us. But then you felt that pain from doing not a lot to the pain that you felt when you crossed the line of running one of the most challenging runs of your life. And how much better is the pain that you feel from a race, knowing that you've achieved a goal, you've done something really good, as opposed to feeling pain from doing nothing? Do you see what I mean? So I'd rather any day of the week give me pain where I can't hardly walk after having a hard leg session or trail run than from doing absolutely nothing. Do you know what I mean? And that hit you like a ton of bricks by the side of it, and that's an amazing mindset. That is.
It's like 12 months ago. Like I'd wake up in the morning and like all my back would have been seized up where I've just been stuck, and then I couldn't walk down the stairs normal. I'd have to go down sideways because like it just felt like my knees would give in. I'd have to put my arms like that and then like go down sideways until I'd moved about a little bit. And as stupid as that sounds, that'd make me like hate myself a little bit more. And then I'd be like, oh, you fat lazy so and so, and then you'd be in the fridge, and then I get searched for a bar of chocolate, and then when you eat that chocolate or you eat crap food, you get like an instant spike of feeling good, and all of a sudden, then that just comes plummeting down, and you go back to like hate is a strong word, but disliking yourself. So you go searching for chocolate again, and but like you said, that type of pain makes you dislike yourself. But the pain of like running up an hill now, or sprinting up an hill, like I'm at the top, I'm absolutely like my lungs are hanging out of my ass. But when I look down, and I think that was great. I can't wait for my breath to come back so you can go again, sort of thing. It's like pain's a broad spectrum, but like the thought of like pushing on, and then before you know it, you've run 5 miles, and that 5 miles might have hurt. But when I can remember the first time I run like a mile outside, I came home and I was over the moon with myself. I felt in agony. I felt like somebody taking a sledgehammer to my legs. But it was a great feeling as well. It felt like I had accomplished something through it.
Hell yeah, well you have. I mean, it sounds like you've already got a mindset of. I mean, I'm sure Nathan will agree, super excited to see what else you got in store for everyone, because I mean, you've done so many amazing things in such a short space of time, and it very much seems like you've got that comfort, being comfortable, becoming
Being uncomfortable.
kind of being like because it sounds like you already had that, you know, you were having discomfort, like you said, walking downstairs sideways and stuff, but now you get uncomfortable when you run up a hill, but my God, how much better that feels. And you're already embracing that. And you look, just talking to you now, you're smiling and you can see the excitement in your eyes. So I'm excited to see what else you're going to do.
It's just like the thought of doing it. And
yeah.
it's like today I went out for a long run today. And even though like by about mile 18, I was like, my God, I'm freezing cold. It was a stupid idea. I went out, I took my jumper off and I was running and I thought, oh my God, my hands are cold. I just wanted to go home. But then when I got back to the house then, I kind of missed that kind of like uncomfortable feeling, if that makes sense. I just felt like amazing that I've just run 18 miles and I'm in the house, I'm having a cup of tea now, and I feel like I've achieved something again, and it's at the point now where I don't seem to get that tired about things. Like if I do an half marathon, I finish it and it's nothing. Not that it's nothing, but I can quite easily do half marathons. I can quite easily do trail half marathons. But then I was listening to, I think it was Stu Obese, he was talking to somebody, and he was saying about people that have never had a DNF and never really pushing themselves. I thought to myself, because I'd done the Celtic Trail half marathon from Dare Valley Park or something, and I shit out to doing like the marathon version or even the ultra version because I thought, oh, I can't do it. I'm not going to make the time. I was using that as an excuse, so I opted for the half, and I finished the half, and I felt like fresh as a daisy. I thought, why didn't you just go for the marathon at least? Because I think I could have done it. So even though like I was happy, I was in an easy place before. I've got to a place now where I need to push myself again. Even like half marathons are easy for me now in a way. Like but then I was like, oh, I can't do trail marathons. I'm not fast enough for that. I'm just using it as an excuse. So I've signed up for like a trail marathon, the Rada one. I'm doing the Brecon to Cardiff on 4th of February. What else? I'm doing the Ben Nevis. Is it the Sea to Summit or something?
Sea to Summit. Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah,
I'm doing that with a couple of my friends. So and the Pegasus Ultras. I've signed up to the first Pegasus Ultra for the simple reason.
On the Cannon.
Yeah, the first one of the year. Is the one in April.
It may be flat, but it's a killer.
Yeah, it's all along the canal lake. It's all along the canals and goes down into Malta.
It's physically and mentally tough because it just all looks the same. It's just canal and then trees. That's it for the whole route.
And it's flat. There's hardly any elevation. So
2,000 foot.
What's that?
2,000 foot.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Because
I thought it was quite flat, the Cannon one.
First couple of miles, you got all the locks, like around 40 locks, Rogerstone, and each one goes up a couple of foot. But you don't actually realise you're going and doing the elevation because it's so short, you're jogging it all. So the first couple of miles really takes it out of you because you're going up 2,000 foot in like 3 miles, 4 miles. Because it's like it's just a 10-foot climb each time. You think, I'm going to run this. Because like the ego kicks in there because everyone else is around you at the time. Yeah. It's killer. Hip flexors will be in agony.
Yeah, I recommend Andrew getting some nice stretching and yoga in on those hip flexors because the minute you wait till you get to like half marathon distance, whatever, and you've just been stomping on that canal that whole time. I didn't do the Cannon, but I've run around there enough because that's where I'm from. I'm from Newport, so I do always go around there, and it's just killer. It's killer. But do you know what? Those are the best runs because
You're
I say
pushing
the
yourself
best. I
mentally.
say, yeah, mentally, because if you can do that, the same. My attitude is the same with treadmills. I hate treadmills. I do. Like, I know the advantages of them. I know how good they are. Like, I used one this morning because my legs are feeling a bit battered, or if you want to do hills, you can alter the speed and the incline with a touch of a button. But I hate them because you're just staying in the same
You're
place. You're
just
not
staring
going
at the
anywhere.
wall.
Yeah. But if you can do that for 10K or an hour or 2 hours on a treadmill, then running outside really, technically, should actually be a hell of a lot easier. So if you can slap that tarmac for that amount of time, mate, and come off feeling great, then man, you got the world's oyster. You can smash the trails easily because once you're out in the trails and you got the birds and the beautiful hills and mountains and you got something to look at, it's just easier.
Yeah, I've noticed the time goes so much quicker when I'm doing the trail marathons. It's
Yeah.
like you start and all of a sudden it's over, and you like kind of gutted that it's gone so quick. But like the run I done today was all side streets, all down dual carriageways, and it's just constant noise of the cars going past. It just felt like I'd run about 1,000 miles by the time I got back to the house. Whereas I could
Yeah.
I've done 15, 16 miles runs up over Wentwood, and I've got back to the car, and I'm like, that was just amazing. I just felt like I was the only person in the world. I was miles away from everywhere, and the views and everything are just so great. And I find it fun as well because like you're jumping over things, whereas when you're running on the road, it's usually pretty level, innit? So when you're doing the trails, you're like looking on the floor, jumping over things, and I feel like a kid as well. It's all muddy, and all my legs are stinking, all my shoes are stinking. I just get back in the car. I feel like as if like I'm a 10-year-old sort of thing that's been playing out in the mud in
That's
rainy
exactly.
weather.
That's what Jen said, wasn't it, last
Yeah,
week?
I picked a boy up from school today, and there was a kid rolling down the hill. I just thought, oh, that'd be fun to do next trail race down a hill. I just thought then, well, that's exactly what Jen said last week. You're just a kid.
It is, and that's what it's all about. Like when I did that run on Sunday, like it was just incredible. You meet up with one of the guys I'd never met before. By the end of the run, you're like best mates, and you run. We ran 25 miles. We were out there for a long time up in the Black Mountains, and you just all right. A lot of it was ice, but you're slipping around, you're falling over hills, and then you get like a technical decline. And you're hopping over rocks and through fields and jumping over fences, and it's just. It is like being a
one
kid.
of you goes flying and you end up in bushes or something like that. It's fun. You shouldn't laugh, but you find it funny as well, don't you? So,
oh no, yeah. Our rule is one of the boys who runs with us, John. He's an absolute animal. We were pelting it down the side of one of the hills. I can't remember which one. Might have been Hay Bluff or something. And it was a steep decline. It was pretty safe. And every now and then they had these big like sandstones that were built in, so you'd be running, and all of a sudden you'd have to jump. And at one point, and he was in front of everyone, and he was pegging it, and he clipped his toe. And honestly, my heart fell out of my ass because I watched. He's a big lump. He clipped his toe, and there was a couple of these big sandstones a few meters in front of him, and I was like, he's going so fast, the momentum, he is not going to be able to stop. And at the end, even I said to him, I was scared for you, and he said, mate, for like 20 steps, I had no control of my body. If I'd gone, I was ready to accept it. And I said, just don't do it unless I got my camera out because I want to catch it. But there was a few of them. And I also, at the end, I leant on a bloody electric fence by accident. I mean, you don't get shit like that in Cardiff. I leant on it, sent a bolt of lightning up my elbow into my shoulder. It was horrible.
Do you keep your drive by just signing up for races then and keep your focus?
Yeah. Because I get excited about like the Brecon now. Like it's going over in my mind, so I like thinking about it. And I think I need structure. I do as well. Like I said about following that guide for the marathon. Once I'd done that and I was taken away, I felt a little bit lost. And
set
it's
like a goal for yourself. So that's how you, like Nathan said. So you keep your drive and you stay motivated by knowing you've got that goal to get to. So you have a 50K coming up or whatever, and then it's like, okay, what am I going to do next? So okay. How do you out of curiosity, how do you when you did your ultra and everything as well, how did you find your nutrition? Like, how did you? Because obviously you were going in blind. You'd never done this before.
Mm.
When you're on marathons and stuff, you've got like aid stations, but they're not the same as
Yeah.
when you do an ultra. What did you?
I put a flapjack in my backpack, but I think the nerves and everything was overrode everything, and I was so focused on like, come on, we got to do it at this speed to reach this checkpoint. I was so worried about making. I was so focused on I want to finish it. I want to finish it. I weren't really thinking about anything else. Some like oranges, or I'd just make sure I filled my drinks up, and off I'd go again. But this time, I think maybe I'd just take it a little bit easier, have a little bit more of a munch at every stage. But maybe because like I'm still a big lad as well, I still got like loads of fat reserves and stuff like that. Maybe I got loads of like stored energy to cope on. If maybe I'm talking utter nonsense.
No.
Did you have any gels, and?
No. I've tried them, but I used to think to myself, are they actually doing anything, or is it a case of you feeling something sweet and you think that they're making you feel better? So it's a kind of a case of your mind is like, oh yeah, that's done something, so you've got a little bit more oomph to go. I just found drinking water was the best thing, like making sure I had.
You're going to need the carbs from the gels to sort of like hit into your fat and oxygen reserves. Without the carbs, you won't hit that reserves, and your glucose levels will just drop, and energy reserves will just drop. So that's why we take gels every like 45 minutes an hour to give you enough energy from your stored fat. Because without it, it won't activate properly, and that's where you'll deplete in energy.
So it was a case of like my mind playing, like my mind thinking that it's doing something where it's not actually doing anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, the word for it in there, is it there's a word for that way? Is this more of a you think it's working for you, but actually it's like Space Jam, isn't it? In the film Space Jam, where if you remember going back
with
to the
Michael
original
Jordan.
film, yeah, because he gives him water, doesn't he? But he makes like this like magic juice, and they all play really well. But actually, it's just water. But no, in this case, I think with the gels, I've since running much longer distances, like there's a certain brand, shout out to Vala Energy, VALA. They're from Neath, really good energy gels. They're the only ones I can take. I've tried loads. I tend to get a bit of like digestional problems and bad stomach from others, but these are all natural ingredients. I'll have a few of them, but what you'll find is when you run these much longer races, your body craves real food. I have them because they give you that hit, like Nathan said. But what you'll find, especially, and Pegasus Ultra runs, they're famous for their checkpoint aid stations. The food they have there is incredible, mate. So be prepared to be amazed. Yeah, so it's all real food, and you'll
you
find
can eat buffet.
Yeah, it is. And you'll find that you'll get to that point and you'll be like, I'm fed up to my eyeballs with gels and water. And they'll have like flat Coke, pizza, donuts, salted potatoes, mate, honestly. So that's one thing actually for you to work on in your training runs, is getting used to eating when you're running as well, because you'll find you'll want to get out the checkpoint to get going again, but you won't have enough time to eat it whilst you're there. So whilst you're running, it's about getting your breath and focusing on eating and swallowing whilst you're running. And that's something that I personally still really struggle with. But I'm getting better at it. But yeah, it's just you'll be interested at the checkpoints, mate. The food is banging. Fair play.
Like I said, everything's a learning progress. Like I said, I had really bad blisters when I done the Gower Ultra, but I think if I take my time and like at the halfway point, maybe take my socks off, clean the sand out of my toes. But like I said, because I was so focused on, oh my God, we're 5 minutes behind. If we don't get going again now, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. So I think that's why I want to do the Pegasus ones. So you can really enjoy it and like take it in. And I think I'll learn a lot more as well, like taking my time to do things, like looking after your feet if they're getting soaking wet. I put some Vaseline on and stuff.
Do you do any gym work, and?
I started doing weights and squats, but core exercises. Like I started doing sit-ups and press-ups, bench press, squats, the single leg raises where you just get like one of them jumping mats and then just keep standing up with dumbbells in my hands. I'm trying to do that twice a week.
Good. Really good.
It's like load, like I got so much, like I want to do so much. It's just like not enough time in the day, sort of thing.
That's the thing. This is where you're getting. It's awesome to listen to because this is the excitement, and I hope it never dies because this is the problem we all juggle with as well. Like I want to go out and do these long runs, but then equally I want to go to the gym, and it's all about having a bit of balance and also making sure you don't burn out. I mean, at the end of the day, one thing that your friend gave you the advice there. That's the one thing Reese always says, who runs Pegasus, is time on feet, and those three words cannot be reiterated enough. Like that's all it comes down to. You don't have to go out and do sprints and run to your maximum heart rate every time. It's just getting out there and being consistent. And I've said that before because if you can consistently run, the rest will come. Like come race day, that you can stand on that start line and know that you've been consistently training.
You're capable of staying on your feet for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours.
Yeah, it's just your body will adapt and it'll just go. Something will click and it'll go. That's what we're doing now. Then we're running for 7 hours a day. Whereas if you've only run the maximum you've run is a couple of days a week for the past X amount of months, your body will just go into absolute shock, and you'll find it won't be your heart rate and your CV, like your cardiovascular system. Your muscles and everything else that will give in because your legs won't have adapted to it. So time on feet. Because running, as much as I absolutely love it, it is traumatic as hell on your legs. It really is. And so there's so much can be said for just time on feet. Just get your knees and your legs and your ankles and your hips used to it, and then you'll be golden. So yeah.
Yeah, because no one
sorry.
doesn't DNF because they're tired, do they? It's always a DNF always comes from puking up because of the food, or they pull something because they haven't done enough gym work. So running I'm not going to be running for more than 3 hours in my training plan in a run because I know that it's going to be my body's strength that gets me through it really. So a lot of gym work.
I've started. Well, I say started, but I swim a lot as well now, and I ride my bike because I was like you said, I look into all the runs and everything. I thought, there's a half Ironman in Swansea, so I thought I'll sign up to that. But then I saw the price, and I thought it's about 600 quid just to register. And I thought to myself, I can't justify that, so I'll. Basically, I could sign up for 12 ultramarathons or God knows how many local runs for that. So
I love that mindset, man. That's instead of saying £600 on an Ironman, I can do 12 ultras. That's it. That's the attitude. You've got it, mate.
Well, it's like my mate had given me his bike because we've signed up for a long course weekend. So we're doing down Tenby. We're doing the 1.2 mile swim. I think I'm doing the 40-mile bike ride and then the marathon on the Sunday. So I've been like swimming over the local leisure centre. So I thought to myself, well, I could save myself 600 quid here. I'll do my own little Ironman. So I cycled over to the leisure centre. I swam, I think it was about 88 lengths in the pool. I think it was about 2 kilometres. I thought I feel pretty fresh. I got out, dried off, got on my bike. I cycled 40 miles then after I'd had a swim, got back to the house and I thought, I still feel all right. I'll go for a run. So I put the bike in the shed and then I went out and run 13 miles and I just thought to myself, I've just done my own little Ironman.
I tell you what, good documentary on that. Before we cut it off and everything is well, you can listen to it, but it's called Iron Cowboy. Don't know if you've ever heard of him. He started off by doing 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 different states in America. And then he did 100 Ironmans in 100 days, not in different states. He literally went into the pool, did full Ironmans, now mind, like full distance. What is it? 2.4 mile swim, 100 whatever it is on a bike, and then a full marathon every day for 100 days. And his body by the end of it was in bits. But listen to, I can't remember what the documentary's called. But it's Iron Cowboy. Have a little look at him. He's
I'll have a gander
absolutely
to that
phenomenal.
much.
He did it all himself. And you watch things like that, and that's what I mean. Like, people like my dad were just not into things like this. He'll just be like, oh, he's a bloody lunatic, man. What's he doing that for? But for us, it's just like, yeah, but how badass is that? Knowing you can do that. Knowing you can
That's what I
push
mean.
your body. And that's what's
Because
so
like at the start, I was like, I can't believe people run like a park run in 30 minutes, because it's like taking me 50 or a bit longer. Then you reach that target, and it's like, I can't believe people run 10Ks in so and so time. And then all of a sudden you're finding I can do that, and then you're like, I can't believe people run half marathons in so and so time. And then you catch up to them, and then it's a case of, ooh, I could run. I think I'd have a go at running 35 miles, and I can see how contagious it is. It's like, oh, I've done 35 miles. I wonder if I can do 45, and then it's 55, and then it's 65. Then your wife's wondering where you've gone.
Nathan, he sounds like he's got the bug, mate, hasn't he?
Yeah, 100%. It sounds like your goals are all about sort of like pushing your boundaries rather than sort of like listening to anyone else's times or anything, which is the right reason to like to do it. It's great to hear, and it's great to see someone like yourself, and having the belief and drive to do what you've just done in the last year. It's amazing.
It is. It's so inspiring, and I know we've said it a few times, and we're not kissing your ass. This is genuinely, like, you knew you were in a place in your life at a young age where you were getting out of breath and struggling, and something just took over you because of your health. You know, you want to live a long, healthy life, and then the fact that you're not just going to the gym once a week because you want to get fit again. All this stuff you've done, you've taken those steps, and you're pushing yourself, and you found this new love, this newfound passion, which is just improving your overall health. And like you said, now you just feel so much better for it. And that is, like I said, for anybody who is struggling and is overweight or whatever it is, you know, it needs that push. Have a listen to this and look at Andrew's page, because this is the guy he's showing you can do it. Like,
it is. It's not just a physical side of it either. It's just like, even thinking about what I can do in the future and what I have, it just brings a smile to my face, and it just makes you feel great. And like I said, I've most probably made more friends the last 12 months, or got to know more people in the last 12 months than I have in the previous 43 years I've been on the planet, sort of thing.
Incredible.
And I think it just sums it up, especially with the trail runs. I can remember the first half trail I done, and it was the Rada one, and it was about 12 miles in, and I must have looked like I was on death's door, but I was and there was a guy doing the full marathon, and he'd come up by the side of me, and he could see I was struggling, and he just ran with me for like the last 2 or 3 miles, and he's like talking to me, and it took my mind off it, and I just thought to myself, he's most probably pushed himself to reach a certain time, and he stopped to help me out.
Yeah.
Just for no reason other than just because that's the type of attitude everybody's got that does it.
Yeah,
more
get
so,
used to that. Yeah, because
more so than the road runs, I think.
Oh yeah,
I found like the spirit amongst everybody, especially on the trail runs, it's more of like a sense of adventure, and it's like a big type of a family. And the more you do them, the more you get to know, you see the same faces, and you say, all right, how's it going? I saw you like so and so and whatnot, and you get to know everybody. Whereas like if you do like the Cardiff half or like the Swansea half marathon, there's so many people there. It's like you don't really get to know anybody around you, maybe, or it's not everybody's like in it for themselves in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're surrounded by 2,000 people, but you're alone.
Yeah,
that's a good way of putting it, Nate. That's true, and because everyone's in the zone. Whereas, all right, you will get ultra runners and trail runners who are in the zone, but they'll always take the time, and because it is a community, because it is a bloody hard thing that you're doing, and so everyone sticks by everyone, and it's great. It's a really good. I got a question for you, actually, Andrew, because this is something that we asked in your relatively young journey of ultra running. Are there any races that are bucket list races that you would love to do? Anything, and if there's any race you could do in the world now, regardless of the cost, what is your bucket list race?
This might be, and it's not an ultra, it's a trail marathon. But because my first half trail marathon was Rada and Griffithstown, I've signed up to the trail marathon version.
Amazing.
So that's on my for me to finish that in the time, because obviously trail marathons are a little bit harder, even though they're shorter distances. Like the times are a little bit shorter, and so you've got to get around a little bit quicker than maybe if you're running 35 miles or whatnot. So for me to think 12 months ago, I struggled to do the half, and in a couple of months' time, I'm going to smash the full marathon. Maybe not in spectacular, speedy fashion, but I want to be able to cross the finishing line on my first trail marathon.
Yes,
that might be a simple ideal for me, but it'll mean a lot to me. That will.
No, that's well, even more meaningful than any other, the bad waters and all this, because it's got a lot more meaning for you. Like you said, 12 months ago, you struggled to do it, and now you're going to be going out there and smashing it. And yeah, it's more of you've got unfinished business kind of things. Yeah. And that's why
I just want to I know I struggled to do my first half, but I want to know that I can go out there and smash my first trail marathon, if that makes sense.
And you will. I'm sure. We have no doubt that you will. And yeah, mate, I think probably going to cut it at that. Nate, it's up to you, mate, unless there's any other questions. But yeah, Andrew, just wanted to say before we finish it, like I said, again, I know we've said it a few times, but thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for
no worries, lads.
You're talking about yourself, mate. And I know that this, like you said, you've gone from this person who was running late at night and hiding away to just being this really cool, outgoing person. Your mindset has changed, your physical, everything, and it's inspiring. And yeah, thank you for coming on.
I haven't got bright yellow running shoes now, so
nice. That's the way. So see, you were hiding before. Now you're running to be seen. So that's great of me. So well done, and we'll catch up with you again, I'm sure, in the future on here and have a chat with you. But in the meantime, just keep training, keep working hard, mate, and we'll keep an eye on your Instagram and everything you're doing. Well done, man.
All right, then. Thank you, lads. Good night, boys.
Look after yourself, mate.
Ta-ra, boys.
Bye.
Take it easy, mate. Ta-ra, mate.
All right, so it sounds like Andrew's managed to control his inner chimp, which is the part of the brain where all the signals end up, well, first of all, hitting. It's a very primal part of the human. It's assesses if you're in danger and tries to keep you safe. And that's 5 times stronger than your normal human rational part of the brain. And for a lot of people, they listen to that inner chimp and don't push themselves outside the boundary. They try and keep safe. But Andrew's managed to sort of talk himself out of that behavior. And into a good routine and push themselves as well, which is fucking amazing, to be honest, isn't it?
It is. It's amazing. I mean, you can see, we didn't go into too much detail about mental health and everything, but I don't think we needed to, because you could see,
the smile on his face.
Yeah, he's glowing, man. The smile on his face is just, it's like when Jen spoke about her running journey, the smile, and it's something I'm seeing more and more. And you look at someone like him who's come so far in such a short amount of time, and you can see that running has literally changed his life. And that's what it's all about, man. It is. It's all about that. And what a guy. Such a nice guy as well. So we look forward to seeing what else he's got in store for us, man. But
it's great to hear all the things he was talking about that he wanted to do this year.
I know,
He's not stopping.
Yeah, I know. He's got more plans than us.
Well, I've just got one run to do. But what he didn't say is how many miles he actually ran last year.
I was going to ask the same question, and I forgot to.
Well, I know the answer. See, I've seen it on his Instagram a couple of weeks ago. 1,700.
That was more than me. Fair play to him. I know it's not just about that, but I mean, this is a guy who's gone from being 24 stone, struggling to talk to a friend after carrying a few items and sitting down in his van, struggling to catch his breath, to running 1,700 miles and an ultra. honestly, that's the shit that gets me going, because it's just people pushing their bodies. Like, we are designed to move. And when you hear somebody pushing it to the limit and then they're chasing the next little limit, like, it's just amazing. It's amazing. They're chasing that next goal, I should say. Sorry, but
He's going to crush Radder.
oh, yeah, smash it.
If he's done the Gower 30, well, 34, wasn't it? And there's a lot of sand dunes and lots of big climbs in that. So if he can do that, he's going to crush Radder.
He'll kill it. He'll kill it. And it's lovely I'm glad I asked that question about his race, because, like I said, everybody, me and you, were like, Vegas, Badwater, and he's like, I want to do the same thing but double, because this time last year I struggled, and it's like, oh yeah, that is the mindset right there. But on the subject of guests, for our 4th episode next week, we've got another amazing guest, lady called Sophie. She's on Instagram under Run Free Rehab. She's a physio and a qualified coach. So 2 in 1 with her, really. Best of both worlds. Fountain of knowledge. And it'll be the first time I've actually chatted with her and met her as well. So, yeah, it'd be really good to have her on. So thank you for anyone who's listened to this episode as well. Thank you again for everybody who has subscribed and liked it. And tune in next week to listen to Sophie and everything that she's got in terms of her inspiring journey.
I like to mirror everything Reece just said about the 2 weeks we've just had. It's been amazing, the feedback. We've had great reviews on Spotify. We're now on Apple Podcasts as well. But yeah, leave us a review and let us know how we're doing. And because obviously we want to improve and make this really enjoyable for you to listen to as well. So let us know. But yeah, reviews good, nice, please.
Subscribe and like.
Yeah.
Nice one, guys. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Cheers,
Have a good night.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
I